What's up, guys? This is Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, and the broader markets. I'm also going to break down what's happening with the market so far as we have big data coming out at 10 a.m. that could cause a lot of volatility. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice. So the market's doing a good job at holding up, and we do have potential to try to retest the low 650s. We need to break and hold above 652 to remain bullish. And if we don't, there's going to be a risk of us rejecting back down. I want to give you guys a warning about that. So why do I say that? Well, the thing to remember is that today is Tuesday, September 9th, 2025. It's very important to remember that at 6 o'clock a.m., we just got some important business optimism data, which was quite decent. The market's holding up since. But at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the non-farm payrolls annual revision, and this could be very important for markets because it's going to give us more insights about what happens with the payrolls data on an annual basis. This is also going to be very important for the Fed's policies, so we'll see if this affects our Fed Watch tool current probabilities. Do we end up seeing a big decrease in the chance of us getting a 25 basis point cut and an increase in a 50 basis point cut? Or does this just go up and the other one go down? It all depends on what we end up getting from this data. So I do expect some high volatility. On top of this, later on today, we have Oracle and GameStop announcing their earnings. I think a lot of retail are interested in that. And Apple has a launch event taking place in their California headquarters at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tim Cook, the CEO, and many other executives are going to unveil their new iPhone, talk about their iOS updates, and talk about some very, very awesome new technologies and tools that they are developing. So this could cause some volatility, but keep in mind, typically, okay, I'm not saying this is guaranteed, but typically Apple's events are like buy the rumor, sell the news. So we pump, and when the event starts, we dump. That is what typically happens. I'm not trying to be pessimistic. I'm just telling you that's what typically happens. So be careful. Besides that, the market's holding up well, especially tech. I'm not seeing anything else that's too crazy on the news. Other than that, I just want to focus on the charts from this point on. So if you're a bull on SPY, you want to see SPY basically hold above 652. If we break that, we're looking for new all-time highs. If you're a bear, you want to see us essentially fail at 648. If we don't hold 648, I could see us retest maybe 644, this low right here from yesterday. Or that wasn't yesterday, sorry, that was Friday. And then if that doesn't hold, this could be looking like a double top, taking us all the way down towards like 640. So there's going to be a risk of a big rejection if 648 fails us. Now, in the daily time frame, we're in the middle right now. We haven't broken up or down. Now, we could be pushing a little bit higher, just a little bit before we start turning back down towards like 640. So you want to be very, very careful nonetheless. It depends. Can we break 652 or not? Keep in mind that we touched 650 or almost 650 once and got a rejection. Here we touched 652, got a rejection. So it is a very, very tough resistance. So I would recommend just being very careful, especially when this data comes out. This could send the markets either up or down. If in case we do get a downside move, which is a little bit more probable in my opinion, because of this resistance, we could be returning for a sharp rejection. So we'll see just to be safe. And I'm just giving you guys a heads up about that. On the QQQ, we have a head and shoulders. We need to break past 582 to be bullish, or at least hold above 580 to have some hope. But there is this gap down here at 565. And in case we get a rejection, we can't hold above 580. There is that risk of us turning down. I'm going to be watching this 580 area. Can we hold above this to remain bullish? If we don't, there's going to be a risk of us returning back down to 575, if not 572. And if that breaks, we could be dipping to the 560s. So can we hold 580 or not? Be very, very careful, and we'll see which way we end up going. The IWM needs to hold above 243 bullish. If we don't, we're looking for 236 or below. ES needs to also hold above 65.40. If we can't, we might consolidate and slowly start dipping back down to 64.80 or back down. We're going to see if 6,500 holds. If not, we could be dipping back down to 64.80 or below. So be very careful. NQ needs to hold above 24,000. If we don't, we could be dipping back down to 23,600. There is that risk of us turning down. So be very, very careful, at least nonetheless, especially as we have that very, very key support to watch for. Another concern about NQ is that, technically, we still have a head and shoulders. We have not invalidated this yet. Unless we get back above 24,000. We do a great job of holding above it. If this data launches us back up there, yeah, I'll turn bullish. But if we can't, the head and shoulders is still there, and that could favor some kind of downside move. So I would be very careful here. 23,800 or below could be tested. So make sure you watch your levels just to be safe. So be very, very careful the closer we get to some very, very key zones. On top of this, we also have Bitcoin. It's in the middle. If we break 113,500, we're bullish. If we lose 111,000, we're turning back down. I think we might push a little bit for 113,500. Then we'll see if we reject or not. Tesla, although it's trying to push because of the unveiling of their new mega pack, and also because of the fact that there's plans for them to expand their robotaxi to different airports in California, in San Jose, Oakland, and then San Francisco at the airports, we could push a little bit. We could get close to the low 350s, but keep in mind, we need to hold above 355 to be bullish. Even if we touch the low 350s, there is still a risk of rejection to fill this gap at 338. So be careful with Tesla. If we can't hold above 350, I do think we fill the gap below. So we'll see how well it holds up. Nvda is kind of like flat right now, not really doing a whole lot. Can we hold above 170 or do we dip back down towards like 165? We'll see. Appl, it was holding up nicely, but we're going to see if this turns down or not after the Appl event. Like I said before, these events are typically like buy the rumors, sell the news. We might retest 233 in case we do turn back down. So we'll see just to be safe, depending on what Appl tells us. AMD needs to hold 150. If you hold it, we're pushing back up to 155. If we lose 150, we could be dumping a lot more. So we'll see which way this ends up going. For other tickers, we have Coinbase. Coinbase is looking like it might test 307, then reject. We need to hold above 307 to be bullish. If not, we can turn back down to 300 or below. Amazon needs to hold above 237. If not, we could be dipping back down to like 232. Meta could be once again retesting 762, and we'll see if we reject or not. There's a nice accumulation right here, but we might start pushing back up to like the 760s. Google might retest 229, and we'll see if we reject or not. It might be dipping a little bit. And Microsoft could be pushing back up to 502, and we'll see if we reject. The VIX also might be trying to bounce. If we break 15.69, we'll see if we bounce or not. So be very, very patient. With that being said, SPY could turn down. I would be very, very mindful of the fact that we're at resistance near 615, 652. And we'll see what ends up happening as time goes on. So with that being said, I really want to thank you all so much for listening. Be ready for some volatility once this jobs report comes out. Remember, the Fed is going to be looking at the jobs data because of their dual mandate. And this could be very, very pivotal for their policies moving forward. So be ready for some high volatility at 10 a.m. Don't force trades. Be patient, and we'll see what ends up happening. The best thing I can tell you is just to be patient. Anyways, have a good one, guys. I'll see you guys very soon in the next one in just a couple of hours. And peace out.